Okay, this can be a little bit of an adventure here. Okay, when you first do it, you get in the groove and I think you'll get it, but the first few problems are going to be a little bit, weird. Now I want to start you off with a review problem to explain the context behind why you're doing what you're doing. We have x plus 9 times x minus 2, okay? So this plus right here separates this into two terms. You got x and positive 9, put a 1 in front of your x. Then on the other one, the minus separates it into two terms. You got x minus 2, 1 in front of the x. So we've done this before. We're going to take 1x to 1x, 1x to negative 2. Okay, that's done. 9 to 1x, 9 to negative 2. Okay, let's figure out what these are. So 1 times 1 is 1, and the x's, you have two x's, you add the powers to multiply. So that's 1 plus 1, that's going to be 2. 1x second. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and you just have the single x factor without a power, and then 9x, and then negative 18. So then when I lay it out, I know that I've got x seconds the degree, and then x, then the constant. So x second, we have 1. Negative 2 plus 9 is going to make 7. And then you're going to have negative 18. Now, what we are doing here is taking the product and getting back to the two parentheses that multiplied out to the product. So you're supposed to factor the expression x to the second plus 11x plus 18. So remember, we want to find the two parentheses that you started with that would multiply out to this. Okay, so you got 1x second, 11x, and 18. Now there are three terms to look at. Now the GCF's not a big part of this assignment because you don't have x on the end. Okay, the last term doesn't have x. You don't have a negative in the front. 1, 11, and 18. You're looking at at three numbers this time. It's called a trinomial because what you did before is binomials, factoring two terms. Now there's three terms. It's called a trinomial. I'm going to write that right there, trinomial. Okay. So now you're looking at three coefficients, 1, 11, and 18. So 1, 11, and 18 are on the row of 1. So the GCF would be 1. So there would be no point of doing that. Okay, because all you find is 1. I mean, you don't have an x, you don't have a negative, so dividing by 1 is pointless. But we still have to fill out these two parentheses. Now, what you're going to do is make a table, okay? What I put here and what I put here has to multiply to positive 18, okay? Because if you look at this problem up here, you had negative 18. That came from taking 9 times negative 2. Okay, so what I put here and what I put here has to multiply to positive 18. So what you're going to do is label the trinomial A, B, C. A, B, C. A is 1, B is 11, C is 18. Then I take the A times the C, 1 times 18. Now 1 times 18 is 18. It's positive 18, so you want to put a positive above it. So we have to find two factors of positive 18. Now, for two factors to multiply to a positive, the signs have to match. So put match signs. So that means either negative, negative, or positive, positive. Just start with negative, negative. Just trust me on this. Now, after that's set up, you want to write these two factors that multiply to positive 18 also have to add to positive 11, okay? They also have to add to positive 11. That's the rule, okay? They have to add to what the b is. So put that these have to add to positive 11. So now you find factors of 18. Well, how do you do that? Well, you're going to divide the 18 by random numbers. Have a pattern, start with 1. So you're going to take 18 divided by 1. You divide it by 1, you got an answer of 18. So you write 1 and 18 down. Now add those, see if they add to positive 11. They don't, okay? Not even close. So then I put negative, negative again, and now after 1 comes 2. you'd take 18 divided by 2. So 2 and 9. Now add those, negative 2 plus negative 9. That's negative 11. You need positive 11. Now you can stop dividing, okay? These are the numbers I want to use. I just need to make them into positive 11. If you have the right number, now it says you need to add at the end to make sure it adds to the correct value. If it adds to the correct value with the wrong sign, this can be solved by making each factor into the opposite. So you have negative 11 right now. You need positive 11. You just make them both the opposite sign into positive. I mean, they still match, okay? So now here's what you do. You put in positive 2, positive 9, okay? Now, you fill in your first term in each binomial here by writing a equals and then 1 times x to the second. So you put the 1 down, okay? And then the x second, you divide the exponent in half by 2, always by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it'd be x to the first. So that's just x. And that's your answer, okay? Now, if you want to verify whether that's right, okay, you go onto a piece of paper and multiply it back out, like I did on the very first problem. I take 1x times 1x, 1x times 9. And I'm not going to do this for every problem. It takes too long. Then 2 times 1x, 2 times 9. So it's 1. With the x's, you got to add the powers. Be 1 plus 1, that's 2. Then it's 9x, 2x, and 18. Okay? So x second, x, 18. So you got 1. 9 plus 2 is 11, and you got 18. Now, does that match up with what you started with? Look at what you started with. That's what I ended with. So I have just proved that that's the correct answer. Okay, next problem. So the parentheses first. Now, GCF's 1 in all these, so you don't need to worry about doing it because you don't have a variable at the end. You don't have a negative in front. 1, 4, and 32. When 1's one of the 3 coefficients, the only place you have 1 on a multiplication table is 1. So that means that GCF box is pointless. So now make your T table. Go A, B, C. Now you take your A times your C. 1 times negative 32, that's negative 32. So you put 32 with a negative. Now that this times this has to be a negative, the signs have to mismatch. So mismatch the signs on a negative. Again, positive's a match, negative's a mismatch. So put a positive on one side and negative on the other. You can flip them around. Now, we're going to find factors of 32, but those factors have to add to positive 4 in the middle, whatever the B is. Okay? So you see, 1 times negative 32 is negative 32. That's what we're going to use on our factor chart. And the two factors have to add to positive 4. So you start dividing. 32 divided by 1 is 32. So put the number you divided by along with the answer you came up with. Okay, that isn't even close to what we want. Now try 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Okay, add the 2 and the negative 16, and that's negative 14, but you need 4. After 2 comes 3. If you get a decimal, you skip that factor. It means 3 is not a factor of 32. It doesn't go evenly. After 3 comes 4. 4, 8. Okay, 4 plus negative 8. That's negative 4. So stop dividing, okay? It's this combination. You just need to make it from negative 4 to positive 4. Again, you do that by switching both the signs to the opposite. 8's going to be the positive, and 4's going to be the negative. Now, negative 4 plus 8, there's your positive 4. So you put negative 4, positive 8. Now, the Latin second part's easy. A is 1 times f to the second. This times this has to multiply to the c. This times this has to multiply to the a. That's why I'm writing a down, okay? So I put the 1 in, okay? Because 1 times 1's 1, okay? 1's only 1 times 1. There's only one possible combination that multiplies to 1. It's 1 times 1. Then I just divide the exponent in half by 2. That's just going to be f to the first, which is just f, okay? Okay, next one, a to the second minus 7a plus 10, okay? So first I'm going to fill this and this. This times this has to multiply to positive 10. This times this has to multiply to 1a to the second. GCF's 1, just as it always has been on the first two. That's what it will be throughout the assignment. So you make your table. I know a is a variable, but I still go a, b, c. So I take the a and c coefficients and multiply them. 1 times 10. 1 times 10 is 10. It's positive. So a positive means the signs have to match. Okay, so put in two matching signs. I usually start with negative, negative. If I have to switch it to positive, positive, it's not hard to do. You're adding to negative 7, so you need to make sure it's negative 7, not 7, negative 7. It's got a minus in front of it. You're adding to a negative. Okay. So I start dividing into the 10. 10 divided by 1 is 10, so 1 and 10. 1, the answer, what I divided by goes here, what you got goes here. Do those add to negative 7? No, they don't. So that's the wrong combination. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So I add those, okay, there's negative, add those, I think that's negative 7. It is, okay. Okay, so this is what I use. Stop right there. So you put in your negative 2, your negative 5. Your a is 1 times a to the second, okay. I'm getting that from right here. So 1, 1, you split the exponent in half, so it's 1, so it'd be a times a. 1a minus 2, 1a minus 5. Okay, next one, 1x to the second minus 6x minus 72. That's all these are trinomials, so you're coming up with the two parentheses that would multiply out to this. This is called factoring. Okay, so GCF's 1. It's 1 on all these, so you don't have to worry about that. So you really don't have to use your multiplication table on this assignment. Okay, take your A times your C. 1 times negative 72 is negative 72. So a negative means the signs, if I'm finding factors of a negative, the signs of those factors have to mismatch now. Mismatch your signs. So that means a positive and a negative. And the two factors have to add to what the B is, which is negative 6. Now, one thing I want to point out, when you're dividing, don't punch in the negative with your 72. Don't do that, okay? Do not go negative 72 divided by, just go 72. We'll worry about the negative later. 72 divided by 1 is 72, so you put 172. Add those, see if they add to negative 6. They don't. You got to be patient on this one. After 1 comes 2. 236. You got to put in the signs before you divide, because then you're ready to add them to see if that adds to what it's supposed to. Nope. After 2 comes 3. 72 divided by 3 is 24. 3 plus negative 24 is negative 21. Nope. You're getting closer to it. You should feel you're getting closer. 72 divided by 5 is a decimal, so we don't even put 5. After 5 comes 6. 6 and 12. 6, 12. Then add those, see if they add up to what's in the middle. Yes, they do. And I don't change the signs this time because I have exactly what I want. That's the way, what I want it. I want the -6. So I put in the +6, the -12. This times this has to be your C. This times this has to be your A. So A is 1 times the variable x to the second. I put in 1, 1. I divide the exponent by 2. It's x to the first, so we just put x, x. Don't put x to the first. That's your answer, okay? Okay, next problem. Now, also another thing I want to switch here. I know I didn't do it on the first page. I need to go back and tell you this. Go back. If you have 1s in front of your x's in the final answer, lose them, okay? 1s in front of the variables, cross them out. 1s, cross them out. 1s, cross them out. So it's x plus 6 times x minus 12. I should have been doing that all along. Okay, w to the second minus 13w, because you want it to look like it has to look like it would start at, like a problem I would write to start with before you multiply. W squared minus 13w plus 42. GCF's 1 again. So if it's 1, we're not doing it, okay? A, B, C. You multiply your A times your C. 1 times 42 is 42. Positive, so positive, the signs have to match signs. So negative, negative, just put a negative on each side. If I have to switch them to positives, I will. We are adding to try to get to -13, okay? Okay, 42 divided by 1 is 42, but that doesn't add to -13. Put the signs in, then divide. Next, after 1 comes 2. 2 and 21. 2, 21. Nope. After 2 comes 3. 42 divided by 3. You're always going back up to the 42. 3, 14. -17, no. Getting closer though. After 3 comes 4, decimal, nope. After 4 comes 5, decimal. After 5 comes 6. 6, 7. Add those two. There's your -13, okay? So that's what we got. Now that we found what it multiplies to the C, now what multiplies to the A is pretty easy to find, okay? You got your 1, you're going to drop that. Now the variable, you divide the exponent by 2, w to the first, so it's w, w. Okay, m to the second plus 3m minus 70, okay? GCF's 1. Okay, set up your table. A, B, C. You take the A times the C. 1 times -70 is -70. So you put 70 with the negative. So a negative, for two things to multiply to a negative, it's a mismatch. Okay? Mismatch your signs. Positive, negative. Then we're going to add the factors that I come up with here, have to add to +3. So divide into that. Okay. 70 divided by 170. Okay. That's not even close. It's not even worth. Okay, after 1 comes 2, 2 and 36, or 70, not 72. It's 2 and 35. That's not even close to adding to any kind of 3. Decimal, then go to 4, decimal, go to 5, 5, 14. Add those two together, that ain't 3. You got to be patient. okay? Decimal, after 6 comes 7, 7, 10. Put the 7, then the 10 in that order. Now add those. 7 plus negative 10 is negative 3. Well, bad news, you need positive 3, so it's quit dividing, okay? You can easily make that into positive 3 if you just switch the signs, both of them to the opposite. Now, negative 7 plus 10, now you're at 3, okay? They still mismatch, okay? So I put in negative 7, positive 10. That multiplies to the negative 70, and A is 1 times m to the second. So you drop your 1, because 1 is only 1 times 1. That's the only possibility you've got. Then divide your 2 in half, and that's going to be m. M to the first. It's 2 divided by 2 is 1, but m to the first is just m. Okay, finally, last problem. N to the second minus 23n plus 120. Okay, so it's a trinomial. One's a GCF, so that's not even worth it. 1 times 120, that's 120. It's positive this time, so a positive is a match, okay? Signs have to match. I'm talking about the signs that you put in your factors. So just put negative, negative. Now the factors have to add to negative 23. So now you start dividing. 120 divided by 1 is 120, but adding those, that's negative 121. That isn't even close. After 1 comes 2. 2 and 60. Negative 62, no. 120 divided by 3 is 43 and 40. That's negative 43. That's wrong. Okay. 430. Negative 34. Nope. Be patient. After 4 comes 5. 5, 24. Nope. That's negative 29. And 20. Negative 6 plus negative 20 is negative 26. You're getting closer. Don't give up. Okay, just go off the side. Then after 6 comes 7's a decimal. Now divide 120 by 8. 8, 15. Add those. Finally, okay. Don't have to change the signs. That's exactly how I want it, okay? And A equals 1 times n to the second, so you put your 1 in there. Then you divide your exponent by 2. It's n to the first, so that's n times n.